Hey, my name's Dewey, and today we're going to learn a little about the water cycle. Water is incredibly important for many reasons. It is essential for plants to grow, for animals to survive, and for life to exist on Earth. Take a look around the environment and tap on each information bubble to learn a little more about each place. Farmers depend on the water cycle for a continuous supply of water. When rain falls and gets absorbed into the ground, it replenishes groundwater. Farmers can later pump this water out of the ground to water their crops. This process is called irrigation. Lakes and rivers rely on the water cycle and rain. These bodies of water are habitats for many plants and animals. These rivers feed into a hydroelectric dam, which uses the force and flow of the river water to generate electricity for the city. Humans require water to survive, and human bodies are made of 60% water. We use water to clean ourselves, we drink it, and we also use it to cook food. This city gets their water from lakes up in the mountains. Oceans play a big role in the water cycle. They provide a large source of water and also can influence weather patterns across the world. Groundwater is an important part of Earth's water cycle. It comes from rain and melting snow that soaks into the ground, acting like an underground reservoir. People can drill wells into the ground to access this water for drinking and irrigation. The farmers have been complaining that there isn't enough water for their crops to grow well this season. To get more water for their crops, we need it to rain. So how does water end up in the sky? First, our liquid water needs to turn into a gas. How does that happen? When a liquid is hot enough, it turns into a gas. This process is called evaporation. Here you see water represented as small spheres called molecules. When water is in liquid form, these molecules move around to fill the space of the container they're in. Below the container, we have a Bunsen burner that we can use to heat up the water molecules. What might happen when we heat up the molecules? Let's try turning the dial to increase the temperature of the water. The molecules are heating up now. You can see them bouncing around quicker. It's getting warmer in there. See the molecules floating up out of the container? The water is turning into a gas called vapor. Water vapor weighs less than air, so it rises up into the sky. Now, let's see how this works on Earth. In nature, how do you think water vapor is created? What might cause water to heat up? Let's turn up the power of the sun and heat up water molecules in our world. Tap and drag the thermometer to increase the temperature. During different times of the year, the sun may feel less powerful. During the winter, Earth rotates on its axis and tilts away from the sun. The sun is actually farther away, so the rays have to travel farther through the atmosphere to reach the ground, causing the rays to cool off. As water heats up and turns to vapor, the molecules rise into the air because it's lighter than liquid water. Water vapor cools down as it rises higher into the sky. When vapor cools, the molecules condense, become more tightly packed, and turn back into a liquid. When enough vapor condenses in the sky, we will start to see clouds form. With more vapor rising and cooling, the clouds become heavy, getting ready to fall as precipitation or rain. Let's take a look at one of these clouds. As the sun evaporates liquid water on Earth's surface, it turns it into water vapor, and the vapor floats up into the air. It's colder higher up in the sky, so the vapor condenses back into clouds, like we see here. It's time to look at the third stage of the water cycle, precipitation. Let's again visualize the water droplets inside the cloud. These water droplets move around and crash into each other, combining to form larger water droplets. If these droplets get large enough, gravity pulls them down to the ground, and we call this precipitation, or rain. Let's give the clouds a hand and help them form larger droplets. Tap on the droplets to move them. As you continue to make larger and heavier droplets, you'll see that they fall down as rain. You're creating rain! What do you think would happen if we did the same thing, but we made the air around the cloud colder? Let's turn the temperature dial all the way down so that it's nice and cold. Now give the droplets some help again by tapping them. Let's see what happens. It's snowing! When the air becomes colder, precipitation will take the form of snowflakes. When the air is warmer, precipitation takes the form of rain. Let's continue helping the cloud make snowflakes. Now that we've learned about precipitation, let's see how it works on Earth. Let's turn the temperature dial down a little bit to help cool down the air around our clouds. Look at that, the cooler air cannot hold as much water vapor as warm air, so the water vapor begins to form water droplets and fall back down as rain. You can see that the rivers, lakes, plants, and trees are starting to come back to life. Congratulations! You've learned about evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. These are all of the stages of the water cycle. The farmers are happy to have received some rain on their crops too. Great job! Now, using the knowledge we've learned about the water cycle, let's try creating a drought. A drought is a long period of time without precipitation. How might we create a drought? Give it a shot. The sun has been heating up this place for a while now. If you look closely, you'll see that the rivers and lakes have much lower levels of water, and the vegetation is starting to dry up. You've successfully created a drought. These are dangerous conditions for animals and plant life. Our drought conditions have decreased the water levels of the river so much that the hydroelectric dam is no longer generating power for the city. Do you think you could help make it rain and fill up the river again? It also hasn't snowed in quite some time. The ski lift up on the mountain doesn't have much snow for the skiers and snowboarders. Do you think you could make it snow for them? Great work! You've helped supply the ski hill with some snow for the skiers and snowboarders. Great job! You've learned about all of the stages of the water cycle, and now you know how weather conditions are created. Congratulations! You're now free to play with the water cycle and create your own environment. Have fun!